And welcome to the Destiny Nerds episode 38. What's up? What's up? My name is Bearded Luke. I'm back finally from a week off of the podcast. I felt so sad I wasn't here. I wasn't here to bring back Havoc, who's also here. Maddox is also here. We also have an awesome guest. I'm not going to announce yet. You probably see this awesome person right on the screen. But, yo, Maddox, let's start with you. What's up? Tell me who you are. What's going on?
Dude, glad to have you back because you're the computer mastermind. So
Yeah.
it was stressful having to be the one to do so last week. But
The audio's
we
working.
got
The one
through it.
screaming in chat saying, we can't hear him, we can't hear him, we can't hear him.
I was the one saying it.
it was.
I was like, I can't hear anything.
No, but it was fun. I mean, we had a great guest last week. That was fantastic. It was a great conversation. Havoc was back. Got to have Havoc back, and just been gaming, dude. Just like always.
Gaming.
Life is just as busy as always. So, but glad to have Mr. Luke back because I just like to sit here and be, a pretty face, I guess.
No, you like to talk, but I also like to talk, so I'm happy to be back. I like that. I was so jealous. I like to ask questions, like a million, billion, trillion questions about people. So I'm pumped about that. Havoc, welcome back, bro. What's up?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Basically the same thing Maddox has been doing, just gaming, and been busy with that. Not too much to really report on that.
Well, heck yeah.
Besides the spicy topics we got tonight.
Yeah, we got some spicy, fun topics.
Havoc's
It's gonna
got
be
some
awesome.
opinions ready.
I'm ready to
told
hear
us.
them.
I have opinions.
I can't
Yep.
wait to talk about it. All right, well, let me introduce our amazing guest. I met this awesome man on Twitter, I feel like, I don't know, a year ago or so. I think we just randomly followed each other, and we've been buds ever since. But we have the smartest physicist himself, illphysics. What is up? Uh-oh, he's muted.
He's muted.
You're muted.
You're
You're
muted.
muted. See?
Did I mute myself?
Oh Lord. Here we go.
Then I unmuted myself.
You're good. You're good.
Does
Dude,
everybody
what-
hear me now?
Yeah,
Mic
we can
check.
hear you.
Alright.
What's up, bro? Welcome. I'm
Yo,
so
what's going
pumped
on?
to finally
Yo, thank you for having me.
get to talk with you. You have a lot of really, like, this is a partnered streamer on Twitch who like grinds Destiny, one of the most like talented PvP players I've
Oh,
seen
man.
play this game. Like, you have such unique style. You're so fast and quick and agile in the game. Your mouse keyboard skills are insane. But we're really
Thank
honored
you,
to have
thank
you on
you.
tonight. It's gonna be fun.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. Of course, you said it yourself. I've known you for a little bit. Of course, I've known Maddox for a little bit. I've just met Havoc. We all kind of travel in, very familiar, similar circles of just really
Mhm.
awesome people, content creators and otherwise, So,
Mhm.
although we don't get to chat, too much because everybody's got their own things going on, right? It's just
Right.
always, I don't know. Like, it's just always nice when
It's good to
I
take a
have
deep
the-
breath and just like relax and just chill with the buds.
Yeah, exactly. And catch up with folks you just don't usually get to catch up. Like, you as content creators, especially, it's just like we have to actually make time to hang out, right?
Yeah.
We
Right.
have to
Right.
actually make time to hang out. So, it's just nice to finally catch up. It's just nice to finally catch up.
I
Heck
agree.
Yeah, and I
totally
appreciate you
agree.
coming. Last.
Yeah.
I mean, I just messaged him on Twitter this week and was like, "Yo, you trying to be on the podcast sometime soon?" He's like, "Let's do it this week." All right, cool.
All
So-
right, so
Perfect.
Thanks for being so flexible. We love
Yeah,
having
no
new
doubt.
people on here.
Of course, of course.
Awesome. Well, let's get into it. We're all three of us are gonna like just ask you questions about you because that's really what this first part's about.
can I go first? Can I go first?
Yes, you can go first. We really like to talk about our guests and get just let the audience and people and even your viewers, if they're here, or people online or people that are listening to this later, we want them to know you. So Havoc, what do you got for me?
Besides, asking what are his deepest, darkest secrets,
Save that for last.
I guess the common question I'm sure you've gotten before is your name. How'd you come up with that name?
Yeah.
Let's start with
Man.
that.
Yeah, I love in-game movement. I've always been kind of like intrigued, fascinated by the physics of video games, right? So even just going back to my first video game, probably Mario 1, on Nintendo, because I'm a boomer, right? Just the fact
I feel you, brother. I feel you.
just the fact that you can jump in the air and you can like hold one of the like a forward or back key and it will actually like move you in the air a little bit, right?
Right.
It's kind of like movement strafing in Apex Legends. I mean, that's not like an original thing. That was like in Mario. And so I don't know. I've always kind of just been intrigued by the movement options, whether nuanced or otherwise, like obvious or nuanced in video games, and especially first-person shooters, in particular. And then also, I'm a biomedical engineer by trade, right? So, like science and math have been my religion for a long time, and physics is always physics, and particularly astrophysics. You know, the physics of the cosmos has always been really interesting to me as well. So it's kind of just a melding of all that, and my gameplay in any game is just as heavily focused on gunplay as it is focused on movement and trying to widen the skill gap between myself and my opponents by gunplay, but also synergizing that with some really dope and hopefully stylistic and unique.
This man is too
movement of
smart
my
to
own.
be on the show. I'm just gonna say that. I'm gonna say
You're
what we're all thinking
overqualified
here.
for us.
No, I'm following along. I'm good. I'm good.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
That's why I said at the beginning, some of the smoothest gameplay you will see. I'm telling you, it's so unique.
Yeah, it's not like I'm not the craziest killer in Destiny. Like I feel like there are people definitely that are more efficient killers, right?
Right.
Like I want to kind of be efficient, but I also just want to style on people, man. I'm trying to break ankles out here. It doesn't matter what character I'm on. I'm trying to break ankles and get a clip of it and then post that shit everywhere.
Yes.
Ooh.
I'm trying to
Okay.
put people's ankles in the hospital, man.
So you like to make highlight reels, is basically what you're saying.
I get a thrill. Like I was telling somebody on Twitter before, I get a thrill out of breaking ankles because like basketball is my main sport that I've had all my life in real life, right? Outside of gaming.
Right.
And I'm a point guard. And I'm pretty nice at I'm pretty nice at the ball.
You got them AI handles, is what you're saying? You got them AI?
ball handling, you know? So it's just like it's just always been really fun and really rewarding to me to kind of outplay people with the movement, whether in real life or whether in games as well. Maybe that's translated there. So that's all. That's what I have fun doing, just as everybody has fun doing their own thing as well.
Dude, that's awesome. The word, so this has like nothing to do with Destiny as this beginning part is going to be, but the word physics means so much to me, and I'll tell you why. Like whenever I met, this is funny. So tomorrow will be 12 years since I I started dating my wife 12 years ago tomorrow. But the only reason I knew who she was or met her is because her brother was in physics class with me when I was a junior in high school.
Oh my God.
So like every time I tell the story about how I met Allie, it starts with like, well, I was in physics class with her brother, and then so like the word physics, you said that, and I was like, oh, my wife. Sorry.
My wife.
Relatable on all fronts, it seems.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I want to know like your gaming journey. Like bring us from like you started playing games, and then I want to know like what you did in that process to get you to the point of wanting to create content. And
I mean, the man said he started with Mario Brothers back on the
Yeah.
NES, so he's been around the block.
a little bit. Yeah, and I started NES like super late because we were not well off by any means, when I was younger. And so the first gaming system that I got was Nintendo, and it was a hand-me-down system for my best friend in like, I think it was like 6th grade or something like that, right? So I didn't play very much video games growing up, like any television. I was pretty much in books 24/7. And any television even that I watched was maybe like, Friday night. What did they used to call those on ABC? Like
TGIF, man.
TGI Friday. Yeah, exactly.
That's
TGI
right, man.
Friday,
Family Matters, you got
Family
your Step by
Matters,
Step, all that stuff.
Exactly,
Boy Meets World.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, Boy Meets
Boy
World.
Meets
Ooh,
World.
God damn that show, man.
Yep.
Yeah, and other than that, maybe like some nature shows or something like that on Saturday night. So gaming wasn't
Nature,
like,
Saturday nights, man.
yeah.
You watch Snick on Nickelodeon Saturday nights, man.
no
He
cable.
didn't
dog.
have
No
Nickelodeon.
cable.
Wow.
Exactly, no cable, dog.
I'm sorry.
So no, it's all good. It's all good. I was able to catch up a little bit later on. But
Right.
My point is, I wasn't gaming too much as a kid. I pretty much always had my head in a book. The only time I started gaming was in high school when I went to boarding school. Some of my friends had gaming systems there, and in college a little bit. But really, just once I struck out on my own, got my government job, and got a little comfortable, and had some free time, that's when I started getting into PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, and mainly Call of Duty. I just got attracted to. I've always been a super competitive person, coming from team sports. And so that's when I started getting into Call of Duty and got really, really, really into anything pretty much, what was it, Black Ops and afterwards. So Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, Advanced Warfare, Modern Warfare 3, or was it?
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it was 3 and 4, I think, as well. But either way, I got into Call of Duty, and then as far as Destiny goes, it came right after Call of Duty. Basically, Call of Duty was getting a little stale, and my brother had went overseas with the military and needed. I mean, I wanted to play with him. I wanted to, play some games with him. And he was, even when he came back, he was in a different state because I was up in DC. And so yeah, he was playing Destiny 2. I'm sorry, he was playing Destiny 1, and he had me get on Destiny 1, and I've been pretty much like addicted ever since, especially to the PvP. I got into Destiny 1 when around the Taken King, best period.
Amen.
Yes.
Amen, brother. Amen.
Maybe,
You're preaching
I
to the
think.
choir
No,
here.
there is no maybe
Yeah.
here.
We're all
was.
on the same page here then.
I
Yep.
wasn't gonna get like
Nope.
attacked.
No.
No, it's the best time
So,
we ever had playing this
yeah.
game was
Oh,
that
man,
era.
dude, I cannot. You cannot. I'm so fucking excited about the Dreadnought coming back at some point. Like, just
I
so
would
many
love it.
memories from the Dreadnought. I would just. Do you know how much I could just sit there and do patrols?
It's a beautiful
I don't know
space.
what it
Same.
is. I don't know what it is. And so, yeah. So anyway, I started playing PvE, Taken King, and there was so much to do in Taken King that I finally got into PvP maybe like a little less than a year later. Started taking it a little more seriously shortly after that because I can't do anything but in a competitive arena. And just been playing, Destiny 2 PvP ever since for the most part. It's been my main game. Of course, we took that little bit of a break. I cheated on Destiny 2 and took a little bit of a break for Apex.
Yeah.
We've all cheated on Destiny 2 at one point.
But she took me back. She didn't give me no good RNG, but she took me back. So
She has perfect
there we
grace.
got here. So yeah.
Awesome. So what got you into? Oh, sorry, Max, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna ask. So I'm assuming what brought you, because you took a break. I know this just because I follow you or whatever. But you took a break to play Apex, is what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And is it the movement like you were talking about earlier that kind of brought you to Apex? Because Apex is a whole nother game when it comes to movement. So is that kind of what brought you to that style of game, the BR, the Apex type Legends, and like tell me your experience with Apex as well too. I'm kind of curious because I kind of got a little hint of it as well too, but I'm just curious what your thoughts on it.
Got you. Yeah. First of all, NASA, love the shirt.
Thank you.
Love the sweatshirt. That shit is dope. Yeah, you're exactly right. There's no other game movement wise like Destiny, right? But Apex has its own flavor of that.
It's its own beast. Yeah.
Most definitely. Yeah, so there was no other natural transition for me because any like I'm very narrow-minded when it comes to the games that the first-person shooters. First of all, it's got to be a first-person shooter. I don't really like third-person shooters.
Yeah.
And then I need a game at this point that has some serious movement to it, that has a movement skill gap that I can exploit against my opponents. So Apex was really the only option that I could think of that still had a decent amount of support. A lot of people were saying, Tony, you would love Titanfall 2, and it's just like, well, that's great. And I'm not saying Titanfall 2 is a dead game per se, because I don't think it really is. It really fits that mold. There's a lot of folks still playing it, and there's a lot of folks super dedicated to that game, and a lot. But it's not actively supported by Respawn, right? So it's not like you're getting like new content, and especially as a content creator.
Right.
Yeah. What I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We get it.
So Apex was kind of like the natural progression. I'm glad that Arenas came out, and that's what kind of like piqued my interest, was the fact that it was arena shooter, because I'm not, just like a lot of Destiny, like OG Destiny players, like yourselves, especially when it comes to PvP, we're arena shooters. Like, you move over to the BR side, and there are things that are gonna it's very different. There are things that are gonna super like annoy you. One of the biggest things that concerned me going over, and still kind of like tweaks me a little bit, even though I've gotten used to it, is the fact that you drop into the BR in Apex, and you have to pick up this gun that you landed on, right?
Yeah.
And it could be the shittiest, like, or not. I wouldn't say that any of the guns that you land on are not effective in that drop, but I will say it's not going to be a wingman per se, or it's not going to be an R9 or an R301. It's not going to be one of those meta weapons that you can really slay out with. Like, you're not necessarily going to land on a weapon that you enjoy, and so but you have to pick it up anyway. But in Destiny, obviously, you can pick your loadout ahead of time, and you can really
Right.
enjoy this Le Monarch over here. I can exclusively use this Le Monarch. I can exclusively use this fighting line. I can whatever is kind of your flavor. And also just the BR side of things, just being a very different, setting, first-person shooter-wise versus an
Playstyle,
arena shooter.
everything.
Yeah, most definitely. The biggest thing about Apex that is still hard for me, even when I go back and play it now, probably like once or twice a week, is it's just so punishing. It's so punishing because not only are most of the people that have been playing it or that are playing it now have been playing for years versus
Right.
someone like me that just started this year. Not only is does it have a steep learning curve, a fairly steep learning curve, but also you make one mistake, and that mistake oftentimes sends you right back to the lobby. Then you got to wait again to queue up, and then you got to drop back down on another weapon that you don't enjoy using. So
Yeah.
it's a very punishing like gameplay loop until you get the feel for it, which takes a little bit of time. And that's what I tell my friends like Lunars, my friends like Cool Cheese. I'm just, when I'm trying to get them into the game, I'm just like, yo, you just got to get over that little hump, man. And then once you get some kills and a little bit of a taste and some efficacy with some of these weapons that aren't necessarily meta weapons, to the point where you can slay out at least on the drop, so that you can then move on and get the weapon that you want to use. It's really fun after that. And then you start, accumulating, 10 kills a game, 15 kills a game, et cetera, which is not me, by the way. My tops are 11. I'm very average at that game. I want to keep that in mind. But that is what brought me over to Apex for sure, was yet again another great game when it comes to synergy between gunplay and movement, and being able to create or exploit a skill gap, if you work at it, a skill gap not only in your gunplay but also in your movement. And the movement tech in that game, I think the last thing I'll say is I think I saw somebody online say something like, oh man, I always try to like not respond to these comments because I got triggered like instantly I seized
He's triggered
up a little
now.
bit. Like a little bit. I did I instantly like seized up a little bit, where somebody, it was on YouTube, I was looking at some YouTube comments actually, and somebody was just like Destiny's movement is just so much more complicated and less accessible than the movement in Apex. I seized up a little bit. I was like, bruh. Movement
It's
in
hard.
Apex is
Yeah.
crazy. It is not the
It
easiest
is.
thing to do. It is not the most accessible. It is extremely rewarding when you can more consistently get some of that movement down in order to get the jukes, in order to, actually again exploit that movement skill gap. But it is not easy. That game is not easy, and I've had to do so much more in that game to develop some degree of skill to actually catch up. I'm out there doing Kovacs on the side. I'm doing that shit on stream. I got to do it on stream too, because I just need the time to do it. I'm out here, like optimizing a lot of the optimizations that you saw in my most recent YouTube optimization video for Destiny 2 came from my time optimizing strongly for Apex. I changed the sound settings in Apex. I changed the video settings. I changed how my PC ran, my gaming PC ran, just to make sure that I was getting, stable frames, and it definitely helped out a lot. And I brought a lot of that stuff over in that video. But yeah, Apex has been, I still say it's the most rewarding first-person shooter out right now, for sure. But they are getting team deathmatch, I believe, in a few months, so that'll be exciting
fun
to go back and check out, because it won't just be the BR and the arenas. We can go into that later. Is not the most successful format for a variety of reasons. And man, I just want Destiny 2 to get Destiny's dedicated servers.
Agreed.
Destiny 2 gets dedicated servers. That's a wrap for everybody else. I'm gonna just say it. That's a wrap for everybody else.
I'm gonna be excited.
That's it.
No,
I
I was
agree.
just always curious because you see a lot of people go from Destiny whenever it gets a little dry and stale that mainly play PvP. We'll hop onto Apex, and I've always been just curious because I've always been a big person about movement and stuff like that. I got my stompies on. I got my I don't use transverses anymore because Ophidians are overpowered.
Of course. Yet again, another movement. Exotic. Yeah.
Right. So I was just always curious. I know you were playing that for pretty serious there for a while, and then I saw you back on Destiny 2. I was always curious. Is there anything that like you noticed that like kind of carried back over after your time from Apex, back over to Destiny 2, or is it just like like you were saying earlier, just like riding a bike? It's just you still have those the proper instincts when you're playing.
Yeah. No, that's a great question. Yes. And I didn't think so to start off with. It is definitely like riding a bike. I'll talk about, some, like, I'm definitely rusty on some things that are purely more Destiny oriented. Like, I certainly don't play my life as effectively as I used to. I certainly, ego challenge. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I've been, like, when I played Destiny, I was sweating like half the time myself, like actually in scrims. Like a significant point of the time. I was in scrims for probably like 6 to 9 months straight where I didn't really even touch pubs that much. And so I'm definitely rusty in that regard, but you're right. There were some things that came over from Apex, as far as in Apex, this is a good example. You want to always get that damage first. And if you don't get that damage first, then you don't really engage in that fight.
Yeah.
Then you either run away, rotate, or you stay behind cover. And then if you do get that damage first, you don't try to finish. You don't try to finish in Apex, right? In Apex, you duck behind cover, let them shoot off their clip, or do some sort of movement to evade. Like, everything is about evading damage, because you can't just naturally and passively heal, right? You have to actually take the time to pop a cell, pop a battery, pop a med, whatever else. So, in that regard, I guess that like, I noticed that when I came back to Destiny on my decision making on what fights I chose to
Makes
take.
sense.
And being just a little more like, it was just naturally there. I wasn't necessarily trying to be more careful about which fights I try to take, but that's what happened. It made me play cover a little bit better, I feel like, as well. It definitely like helped with my peak shooting, because in Apex I was using the equivalent of a hand cannon in the wingman, which is the only hand cannon there, and which is a very difficult, weapon to use, because you have to be substantially more precise with it in Apex versus Destiny 2. The hitbox is super small. And then also I was using the submachine gun. So those were my two favorite weapons, the R99 and the wingman. And with those two weapons, you just don't have a lot of room for error, which makes you play. And what I'm alluding to is the fact that it makes you play cover a lot better, and it makes you a peak shooting god. You have to fucking play cover and peak shoot strongly in order to make sure that you're getting the first taps of damage, and then you can push. Once you break those shields, because you played it right and you didn't take damage to your shields, or they didn't break your shields, then you can get aggressive with it and just fucking ape on somebody. So
I can see where that can carry over for sure. Yeah. I mean, playing trials, I mean, you're always wanting to, I just overall, I see that definitely makes sense for sure.
Yeah, and it's you can kind of relate it a little bit to Destiny, right? In the concept of, okay, what I'm saying, like, I've got this person weak, so we all push now, or we got the pick, so
right.
You get that pick, that first one, and it's a 3v2. Everybody fucking apes in at that point. So similar to that in Apex, it doesn't, in a 3v3 situation such as the BR, for example, it's not necessarily so much about, I mean, you can get that drop, but as soon as we crack shields on one of them or even two of them, and we didn't take any cracks on our side, everybody apes, So it's definitely some stuff transferred over. Incredible game.
Cool. I'm glad you enjoyed it, because I had my little stint on it, and I think I even got Luke to play a little bit as well too, but I don't think he really enjoyed it.
I played for like one night, and I was like, I'm all right.
Yeah, it's really, really tough. It's really, really tough.
It is, and unless you have time to invest into it, it's really difficult to.
That's always my problem these days. I don't have enough time to like really get in. Like, I don't have that. Like, there's that threshold. You play for a certain amount of time, and then you get hooked for some stuff that's like really, where it's competitive. I never have enough time, so I'm like always like right on the cusp. Even with Destiny 1, I actually returned it like when I first got it, and then eventually got it again and got hooked. But that's kind of how I've always been. But I've always wanted. I'm always over here like, man, I really wish I liked all those games, because I would love to play with all my homies and not suck whenever I'm playing them.
Well, nobody should feel bad about like Apex. I had quite a few people that tried to jump into Apex because they were trying to like just vibe with me, right? And really, really gave it a strong attempt. But man, that is probably that's got to be one of the toughest games to get into right now. Nobody should feel bad about,
especially right now. But 10 seasons in,
yeah,
that's like someone popping on Destiny for the first time,
Yeah. Remember, it took me 3-4 months to become relatively average at that game, to pop a 1.0 KD, to come up on a 1.0 KD. And I put massive amounts of time and hours into it, whether it be content creation or otherwise. So most people do not have that time. And Apex is really, I think that they are trying, especially with the team deathmatch, and trying to come up with modes that aren't as punishing to people who just want to play the game a little more casually or drop into the game here and there. I think they're trying really hard to make sure that folks like Luke, for example, when they step in for that first day, that there's a higher likelihood that they're actually going to come back, you know?
Yeah.
Because right now it's really tough, really tough.
Yeah.
True that.
Cool,
So-
man. I'm always interested in how people portray themselves in different games, because I mean, you always, being a Destiny player, I play another first-person shooter, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of reminds me of Destiny. Oh, that kind of reminds me, and just so I'm always going to come back to Destiny. Destiny is always my number one game without a doubt. So I was just always curious of, a lot of people that do venture off to other games and maybe come back, if some of the skills they learned on that game kind of portray over back to Destiny and make them a better Destiny player. So it's interesting.
Speaking of games, I want to hear the content creation story behind you. Like when did you start streaming?
Absolutely.
Like what made you start doing that? Like what game did you start streaming, I guess? How long's it been? Like all that kind of stuff.
Oh boy. Well, I'll start at the end and then I'll come back to the beginning.
Okay.
Because I definitely didn't talk about this, which was content is very different. Like, why did I come back to Destiny 2 as well? Content is very different. It wasn't just the game, because I enjoyed playing Apex, and I still do enjoy playing Apex more than I enjoy playing Destiny 2 PvP. That's not to say I don't enjoy playing Destiny 2 PvP. I'm just saying that Apex is the max for me right now. It's like the max. But I'm still heavily addicted to Destiny 2 PvP, and I love it and enjoy everything about it for the most part. The content is much better in the Destiny community. The community is much more diverse. The things that folks are entertained by and enjoy are much more diverse, because Apex is a fairly one-dimensional, competitive focused game, no PvE. Then not only is the content focused towards just whoever's just slaying out, how do I slay out better? How do I slay out better? That's it. The community also is fairly focused on just that as well, right? So the content is just very, very one-dimensional, and that's kind of boring to me. I enjoy playing it, so didn't necessarily enjoy making the content as much. But over in Destiny, we could all laugh at 6 bubble titans rolling up in Iron Banner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like we could all like just like
cat ear emote.
Geek out cat ear emotes, some sleeves. We could all geek out on some lore. We could all like fanboy over Mara being like slim thick or whatever. It's just so much so much depth to this community and so much depth to the content. You can definitely strike your own path with regards to your own unique content niche, and it's substantially harder to damn near impossible to do that over at Apex. So those are the two biggest reasons why I came back to Destiny 2. It like there were definitely some requirements. I'm a PvP guy, right? So I needed most definitely for the cheating to be handled. Number one, for there to be some additional PvP content, for them to at least seem like they're focused on PvP, the 3 peaking and things like that. But the cheating and the lack of content, secondary, those needed to be resolved. And so that's good. The beginning of the content journey, pretty straightforward, to be honest. I'm a pretty social guy, on screen, off screen. And so when I started playing Destiny 2 for PC, it was just a way for me. I mean, I had my Discord, and maybe like less than 6 months later, it was just a way for me to play with my friends and folks that I wasn't able to immediately play with. I was still able to hang out with them through my stream. And so they dropped through the chat, and we just kind of like chill, hang out, and then maybe they'd rotate in, because it was 4s back in year 1 D2. And that's how things started. And, I started developing friendships and community through that, which is kind of natural to my, extroverted personality. And, we kind of just continue to take off from there. So it's pretty straightforward on my end. Destiny 2 was pretty much the beginning of my journey, and it's still still is.
That's awesome. And when did you, so you're still like new partnered streamer. Like when was that when that happened? I remember. I mean, it wasn't like super long ago, but it wasn't like years ago, right?
True. Yeah, so that happened in January.
Yeah,
Yep.
January. Dang, it's already been
wow.
that long. It's just this year's went by like instantly.
true.
Like it's
Oh my gosh,
it's
yes.
October of 2021, I think, right?
Yep.
And
Maybe.
that's a huge accomplishment. Congrats on that. Seriously,
Yeah,
I always
thank you.
try.
I appreciate that.
I always try to tell everyone we have a lot of partner streamers on here as guests, and it's just like it's a huge deal to get there. I'm not saying that's like everyone's identity to get the partner, but it's just
Yeah,
not
of course,
easy.
of
It's not
course.
easy to do, and you did it.
It's not, yeah.
So-
It's not particularly easy. And I took the long route to it too because it wasn't something that I was concerned with. Even when I became a partner, it wasn't something that I was necessarily concerned with. You know, it's not
Yeah.
something. It's like you said, it's not something that is part of my identity because I do the same things that I did before. It was something
Right.
that would be a natural. It'd be a natural. Outcome anyway of how I built my community and how I do my content, which is just one person at a time. This person, like Luke, comes in and Luke says hi. Like Luke gets all my attention, and I try to figure out like who's Luke, you know, and Luke tries to figure out who's Tony, and then we kind of just go from there. And then Luke comes back the next stream. It comes back, you know, maybe like a week later or a month later, something like that. And Luke gets the same. I have like an impeccable elephant fucking memory, so Luke gets the same, you know, conversation we just had. Is we just have that continue conversation from there. And then Maddox comes in, you know, like a day later, and we do the same thing. We mix it up, and it's about friends and it's about community and it's about even when I'm not streaming, you know, we're still kicking it. It's still responding to every single message, literally every single message that I can, and still kicking it with people on Twitter, kicking it with people on YouTube, whatever else. It's a full-time like community building job, and because of that, you know, like I said, it's straightforward. The partnership, it was just a matter of time, and it was years, but it was just a matter of time. So
Yeah, are you trying? So I think I saw you tweet. I don't know, it was a couple days ago. Do you have like what's your next goal? I know like partner's kind of a goal-ish thing, but it kind of just happened for you over time, which is awesome because you built us that. But do you want to do this full time? Like be a content creator full time? Are you kind of doing that, or do you still have your full-time gig and then you also do this?
No, that's a great question. I've been full time actually. This has been my main.
This
I
is
still,
full time.
Like,
Okay.
Yep, this is
Okay.
full time. I've been full time for a year and a half. I still do some contracting work here and
Okay.
there, but this has been full time for a year and a half.
That's
and
my
so-
bad. I don't know how I missed
No,
that.
no worries. No, I don't. I mean, I don't expect everybody to track. You know, everybody. We all got stuff going on, man. Don't feel
Yeah.
bad about
Well,
it.
dude, that's amazing. How's it been then the last
yeah.
year and a half? How's that dive been?
A challenge, probably one of the biggest challenges of my life for sure. Because you know, full time implies that you're putting the majority of your time into it, right? And it's more than full time by any means, and
Yeah,
it has
yeah.
been for a long time. Like I put in way more than 40 hours at this job. But it's really content creation. Really is about how to full time content creations. Really is about how to support yourself, your household, with the work that you do, right? And in order to do that with the way that streaming, especially on Twitch, since that's my main venue, you know, is through subs, but you can't just do it through subs really. And you certainly have to stick pretty hard to content that specifically caters towards subscriptions, you know, increasing that subscriptions or at least keeping a certain amount so that you can feed yourself every month, you know, clothe yourself, keep the head
Yeah.
over, you know, the roof over your head, et cetera, et cetera. But you really do have to like diversify your income 100%. Like you have to. Like what is it that we recently found out with the Twitch leak of folks
Oh, gosh.
like finances, you know? It is a very, very, very select few that actually make above minimum wage just on Twitch streaming, right? So it really is about your YouTubes. It really is about your merch. It really is about your Patreons. You know what I'm saying? Your coffee.
Yeah.
It really is about, you know, your Instagrams, et cetera, your sponsorship deals, your partnership deals. It really is about, again, diversifying your income across all these different platforms, and providing a product on all of those platforms that hopefully, you know, gets you a little bit of paper, you know, in each of those little segments, so that can, you know, all kind of combine hopefully to give you something meaningful as far as a full-time job. So it's been a challenge. It's been a challenge because majority of my content has been focused on Twitch, and I've been okay with that because I was a matured Destiny 2 streamer, right? Once I switched over to Apex, it kind of forced me to think, okay, first of all, I need to be thinking more about discoverability. This is a very mature directory that I am very new to, and people don't know me. And on top of that, I am shit at this game. So, you know, I had to start thinking a little bit more out of the box as far as, I mean, at least out of my box, as far as, okay, I need to make sure that I'm doing some different content on YouTube. I need to branch out a little bit more. And that's something that I brought back, you know, to Destiny as well. Now that I'm back, I'm kind of reintroducing myself to a lot of the community and trying to get my subs back up and trying to, you know, again, diversify the platforms with which I create content and support myself. So, you know, it's all of that. A long-winded answer, as you know, I could provide to say it's a challenge. It's a challenge, but it's one that is very rewarding in success, even the small ones.
Yeah. Well, cool. That's awesome, dude. Thanks for sharing all that. I admire that you do that full time. It's awesome. I kind of do it full time, but in a different media. I film weddings in corporate and video. I just film stuff for a living and edit stuff, so it's like content creation, but not like.
Hey, don't be modest. You run your own business.
Not the kind I want to make.
Come on.
If anyone I filmed your wedding and you're listening to this, I wanted to film yours. I'm just kidding. I always say that when I'm streaming. I'm like, oh, I don't want to go to this wedding tomorrow unless you're here watching, and then I'm really excited to go to your.
Unless you're on the weekend of GCX, then fuck you.
Sorry about you. Someone else is filming it, but I'm gonna be the company.
I just haven't told you that yet.
All right. Well, dude, thanks for sharing all that. I feel like I know you a lot better now. It makes me happy. Let's talk about Destiny. Let's do this. Let's talk about this game that we're nerding out about.
Okay, can I answer a quick question from John here?
Oh,
John,
of course.
I do want to know the answer to that question. Yes.
I would love to.
Please read. So read the question for us and then answer that, please.
Yeah. So John is over here trolling me, you know, which is a question I'm sure a lot of people will probably have on their mind, especially when they find out about it. So John says, "I have a question for Mr. Physics." That's so formal today. So formal today. He usually calls me shitter. What made you decide to put your jump button in Destiny 2 on your mouse? Was it a previous PvP games or? And that's crazy because that's actually just not in Destiny 2. I will do. In It Takes Two, I put jump button on my mouse. You know. It actually started when I moved over to Destiny 2 for PC, and you know it was a clean slate. I could design the buttons however I wanted to, right? The keybinds however I wanted to. And, you know, I tried out what everybody else was doing, jump on the space bar, and it just didn't click with my brain. It just didn't click with my brain. And I tried jump on a variety of different keys, and then I moved it over to my mouse, and then I moved it, and for some reason, right click on my mouse, just for lack of better words, clicked.
Wait, right click?
It ever since. Right click.
That's a whole nother story.
Wait, how do you aim? How do you ADS?
I aim with the thumb button. A thumb button on. Yeah, you know you got the two thumb buttons on the side.
Like right here?
ADS, like right there on the side. Right there on the side.
So you're like, oh crap! I just pressed it.
Yeah, that's it. Yep. The front thumb button is where I actually ADS. You know, so it's right next. It's right next to the left clicker. It makes sense, people. It's right next. It's just the left clicker. That's all.
Bro, I'm about to try that.
I play on. Luke's gonna test it out now.
Because I play on controllers.
Luke's not gonna test it out. Don't let him lie to you like that.
Might.
He's not gonna get off his controller. That man's literally the other 2 weeks ago. He's like, man, my controller's feeling real good right now.
This one. It was, bro. I was sniping like no one's business the other day, bro.
Oh goodness. No, that's you don't say that very. I think there's another gentleman in the community that has a weird space bar jump situation. I think it's B Cube. If anybody doesn't know, if you don't know who B Cube is, he's another gamer, and he has jump somewhere else, or he has something different on his space bar that he gets a lot of flack for, and I can't remember what it was, but I'll have to ask him and get that story. But that's just like
crouch
you don't hear very
on
often.
your space bar.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is, but he doesn't have jump on it. That's all I know. That's all I know. And because normally I'm pretty sure almost all PC games default to jump being on spacebar. So
yeah.
A lot of people. Yeah. But you weren't on PC. I wasn't on PC before Destiny 2. Before I got on Destiny 2 PC, that was my first ever thing. But God, right click. What? Actually, that blew my mind more than anything. Just you just saying it being on your. I can understand maybe the right and the right clickers, but
it kind of makes the movement make more sense to me now. What you can do, because
Yeah.
I feel like that gives you more of. I mean, maybe it doesn't, but I feel like
He's
that.
trying to talk himself into testing this out.
I'm just saying, I feel like you'd have more of an advantage,
It's
like
you know what? You might be onto something.
being able to move and jump from this hand. You kidding me?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I necessarily have. Thank you for the for the.
I'm telling you, it's an advantage, right?
I don't think I necessarily have it.
there's no stuff that we don't.
But I don't know. You know how some skills are more they cater more to certain sides of your brain. I
Yeah.
don't know. That's how I tell myself. It's just like the left side of my brain that controls my right hand, which is of course my mouse hand. I don't know. It just
says
works for
click,
me,
click, and you go up easy.
That makes
Yeah.
sense. Both sides of my
Yeah.
brain don't work. That's why I play on controller still.
Oh God,
Makes
I'm not
sense.
touching that. I'm not touching that.
That's a whole nother story in the Destiny community. God bless. Well, there's one thing I know. Havoc is probably itching to get out of his mouth. He wants.
Yeah,
to talk.
I'm barely awake
And
after all
I-
this PvP talk.
I know,
I'll be
and
honest.
but we'll get back
He's
to PvP
asleep
for
over
sure.
here.
Without, I want to hear all of our opinions on the most recent TWAB talked about. It wasn't the TWAB specifically. It was
Yeah, they released
certain,
it just before. Yeah,
It was right
so-
before the TWAB. It was a little excerpt about things being vaulted in the future, and I think we have the Tangled Shore going away, and we have some other content like the Forsaken campaign.
Mhm.
One of the best campaigns in Destiny 2, I might say, is all going to be gone, but it's going to be going free until then. So around I think it's the 30th anniversary is whenever that goes free.
Yeah, like December 6th till
Something
Witch
like that.
Queen is.
So you have
yeah.
3 months of that free content to kind of get caught up, which I think is fine. What are your thoughts, Tony? We'll start with you, of course, being the guest. What are your thoughts on things like that? Just in general, like the whole picture, Destiny content vault as a thing, previous content that we paid for, we did all pay for it if we got to play it.
Oh,
now
if
being
that's your take on it, I can't wait to
unplayable.
talk. Can't wait.
Oh, we're going to talk about it. I'm just saying. What are your thoughts on that regard?
Okay. Oh man. I think in the end, I think it's a good idea. Let me just start with my conclusion. I think it's a good idea.
Right.
I think that they have limited resources, both finite resources in game, finite resources that they have allocated or that they can allocate for different systems that they're on, different platforms,
Right.
PlayStation, Xbox.
He's stealing all my answers, by the way.
Xbox, OG, PlayStation, so that's something that developers have to think about. Developers have to also think about, the fact that they have to continue to passively update these locations as well. Anytime that they, just are updating their game, right? Which creates a degree of bloat. So the fact that, number one, they're throwing it in the vault, which means that eventually we'll get it back to some degree. I think people should, keep that in mind. It's not just going away forever, even though it might feel like forever to some people. But we're getting new content and hopefully content that runs more efficiently, more quickly, loads more quickly, all these things, on different platforms. Maybe it's something that I don't necessarily have to worry about.
Right.
But everybody doesn't have my system. Everybody's not on PC with a 5950 and a 3080 Ti. That is the high end of.
All right. Well,
You had to
Alright.
throw that in there.
That was a little
He had to flex on us.
little low-key flex.
Yeah.
Not all of us have 300 FPS at 4K. I'm just kidding.
But my point is, I think it's a very practical idea that everyone should embrace because it simply makes sense. This is content that sure, we paid for it, but we also played the shit out of it already. We get way more content, out of the stuff we pay for. I mean, I'd pay more. Honestly, I would definitely pay. Like people talk about, we want some new PvP maps. I would 100% pay. Like a subscription fee for PvP maps every year.
Or map pack. I'd pay for a map pack.
I'd 100% pay for a map pack. 100%.
I'd pay $1,000. Not even kidding.
Yeah, right. Shut up.
just saw one of his cameras.
Like you're paying for all of us then.
Talk about flexing over here. Just That pack.
One map.
My point is, like we've gotten way more than we paid out of this content already, and most of us don't even touch the content anymore.
Nope.
The overwhelming majority of the content anymore. I haven't even played. I don't think I've ever played. I played Harbinger is for Hawkmoon, right? So I played that.
Right.
I played Presage, or however the fuck you pronounce
Right, and because those two things are going away. That's
but
right.
they did say they are looking a way to do something with those weapons. So the actual thing to do with the mode will be vaulted, but there will be another way to get those two weapons. Is what they're
They'll be put
into.
I think that right there is the biggest constructive criticism right there, is the fact that they haven't necessarily come through on that in the past, that aspect of it in the past. Some of the ways to get these catalysts and things like that, sometimes it'll take a long ass time for them to finally, remap how we're actually acquiring those catalysts and those things that like we still need, that we still need in the game.
To add to that, the Whisper and the Outbreak catalyst are ungettable at the moment because of being vaulted.
Exactly.
So I can see that.
Exactly. So I think that is the most practical and constructive criticism right here, and that they need to consider. But other than that, I think that this is the best case scenario, and it makes sense. It makes sense from I don't think you have to be a developer or someone that is deeply into to get this concept of, hey, we're looking at all these systems, we're looking at all these platforms that we're trying to make sure everything loads quickly. We're trying to make sure that updates don't take 5 days, for somebody on a PS3 or a PS4 or whatever else. So, yeah.
Havoc, what are your thoughts, brother? I'd love to hear.
Well, I mean, before I jump in, obviously we know what Fizz feels. Is anyone, I guess, anti-vaulting between you two?
I mean, like he said, I can understand why it's a thing and why they're doing it. I understand the why.
So here's you brought up a thing about you paid for something.
Yeah, that wasn't my opinion. I'm just saying. I saw a lot of people on Destiny
and you know what?
on Twitter complaining about it like that.
In the terms of service that Bungie can remove or take away any piece. You got to read the fine print. Granted, people don't, but you need to read the fine print. It says clearly there they can remove any aspects of their game at any time.
Yeah.
And then we've known about vaulting for over a year now. Like, why is everybody shocked at this point? We knew this was coming. It was just a matter of when.
And what content?
We all speculated it was going to be Forsaken. That was next up on the chopping block. I think it's the oldest piece of content right now. It's been out for 3 years. You
can't even replay the missions, can you? Like, you have to restart a character.
The only thing that are replayable are, I think, some of the strikes and the raid. But the raid's not going away because it's on to Dreaming City, so we keep the raid.
Yeah.
And we hate the strikes from it suck, if I'm being honest. I don't like them.
So I'm all about the vaulting stuff. Like, now people are like, well, what about the new players? They're going to be so, they're going to jump in and they're going to hear about all this stuff and all this content's missing. Well, freaking well. Like, you had 4 years to track this game by now. On top of that, they're doing that. They're taking all this stuff to vault it, to optimize, because some of the stuff is going to be so bloated on older gen consoles. That's probably the main reason.
And here's what I think their next step should be is to move. Get rid of the old gens.
Back in Rise of Iron and Destiny 1, where they had leave PS3 and 360, and they focus on Xbox One and PS4. This is basically the same thing. Eventually, because now the PC era is here, and then with the new gen consoles, then with the SSDs, it's more catered. This game right now is more catered to those. So they're basically giving you a hint without actually flat out saying it. Hey, eventually there's going to be that announcement hit where the
old gen's not going to be supported anymore.
The legacy consoles, PS4 and Xbox One, were no longer going to be doing like they did for the PS3. And then, the writing is on the wall with that. If people are that naive and blind to see that,
I think
it's going to happen again.
I think it's going to take a lot longer though than it did before, because it's very, very difficult to get any next gen console right now. The last time an Xbox Series X was available was October 8th at 10 a.m. for about 1 second. And then I only know that because I'm trying to get one. And then the PS5 is in the same exact boat. So like
Right.
whenever they took away PS3 and Xbox made them legacy, like a million, like I feel like a million people have.
Yeah,
Like
they're not going to do it right away,
like-
because those systems were already out for a handful of years already. So like they know those were out in the open, so they could do that easy transition. So you're definitely right about that. They're going to have to wait when the flow of the Xbox Series and the PS5s are stable, and people can actually get their hands on them. Then they'll start to begin. Like, all right, we need to start thinking about obviously as soon as the Light and Darkness saga ends. That's probably at that point, close to that point, where they're going to retire PS4 and Xbox One or Xbox One support. And so that's going to happen. It should not be no surprise to anybody, but people will still bitch and moan because that's what the community does. Like, I can't believe it. This has happened before. This is nothing new. Like, and it happens with games. It happens with other MMO games and stuff like that. It just, things get outdated. And I just sit there and I go through the Twitter feed because as soon as Bungie tweeted it out with their, and I wanted to read some of the responses. And that's what I usually get a kick out of, because I don't like to reply because I don't have that kind of time to argue with somebody. But I just see some of the same answers. Well, I paid for it. Well, yeah, but if you read the terms of service, well, I know, but it doesn't make it right. Well, it's not our fault that you can't read. Like, you need to move on. I can't hold your hand, man.
I think it's so much more straightforward than even that. It's just like, how much did you pay for it? Like
$10 for the season pass or whatever.
You got so much value out of that.
Right?
So much more than you ever paid for. You got
3 years ago.
That.
Yeah. Who keeps replaying this old content? Like, I mean, granted, yes, the new players are going to be like, oh, well, what's going on? Let me replay the older stuff so I can get caught up. But, go to Bife. If you want to be caught up, go to YouTube.
Got a 3-hour video waiting for you, buddy.
Yeah.
Boom, done. It'll save you some money, save you some time. Boom, you're done.
Let me give you my take on this. I'm thinking of this in the same route as, like, I don't really give one crap about what's happening because this is the future. All right, this whole like we're gonna have every single piece of content that we purchase, and it's gonna be in our little hard drive for the rest of eternity. That's over. Like, we're playing a game that's changing. They want this game to change over time, constantly. The world needs to change. The world can't change if the content stays in the game that's useless and is just taking up resources. Even if we all were on the best PCs ever, I'd still say they're not going to waste resources on something that nobody's using.
An extra hard drive just to support Destiny eventually, because they keep like
be a terabyte worth of space just to play.
The space. Like, think about that.
So,
and yeah, granted, I'm sure a high-end PC can boot that shit up rather quickly, but like, not everyone has a high-end PC.
Yeah, it's just gonna be better off, and I think that it's surprising. It was surprising to me that people were kind of upset about it, because I thought everyone's shell-shocked anger was already gone from the first time whenever they talked about it, and then they realized that it was fine and nobody misses like Spire Stars. Well, somebody probably misses it, but
guess what, Luke? Guess what?
What?
It's all gonna happen again when Shadowkeep gets vaulted.
Yeah,
it's all gonna happen again.
Be super mad about
Don't take away my moon.
the moon.
How dare you, Bungie?
It's gonna happen again. Like, it's a never-ending saga.
Yeah, and the thing too is why are people so surprised by this as well? Because this seems like it's pretty much on a schedule at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Right, it seems like it. Yeah.
The last like big DLC, right? Our annual DLC took away the first year. This next like annual DLC is taking away Forsaken, right? So I mean, it's pretty much on a.
And I think more people were pissed back then when they were taking like the raids and stuff like that away, like with the Leviathan.
Well, and
a lot of people, but now that we're keeping the Last Wish, at least that's replayable. Granted, it's on the Dreaming City, so they're not taking away that, because it's actually the Dreaming City is probably going to have a lot to do with what's going to be going on in the Witch Queen. So it's narratively, it's got to be there. So
here's another thing as well too. Another comment that someone brought up that I saw on Twitter is now there's the Legends tab now where Vault of Glass has been put in.
Right.
Why can't they take some of that old content, like the stuff that they're taking away, and put it in that tab, like the old raids and stuff like that? I would love to see like Spire Stars, all that stuff come back, but just
eventually, I see that happening.
Put it where it needs to go, in the old little circle of Vault of Glass,
It's a dungeons.
and all
I
that
think
stuff.
it's perfect for the Legends tab.
Yeah.
But I want to see freaking old strikes be put in the Legends tab. Put the dungeons there. Put the old raids there. That is perfect for the Legends tab. Don't put freaking strikes that Luke hates, as he pointed, like, you know, because no one's gonna do Legend strikes because you'll get the Legend drops. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it's just for, I guess, for just overall playability. You know, I mean, I would love to have, hey guys, you want to hop in Spire Stars? I haven't got my sleeper catalyst or something like that, you know, or something that was obtainable in those raids. Or I have yet to get the, I don't even remember what's from the emo. I mean, I had someone comment on the emo on one of my pieces of content, like, where you're sitting there sipping some wine from the chalice, and someone's like, how do I get that? I'm like, all right, bud, you can't. You can't get it. I tell you, but
what they have in store for us, like we have, like they're talking about this is going to be like, you know, huge major quality of life type changes coming up for Witch Queen. We don't know what they have in store really, which is kind of a good thing. So when
things
January
like this
rolls around and they start, you know, releasing little tidbits, maybe, you know, maybe there'll be maybe some drastic changes that, you know, we're up in arms about now, but maybe they have something in the works. We don't know. But like,
and what makes me excited about what I get excited about this vaulting stuff is taking away the space, is because that to me thinks, damn, Witch Queen must be huge then. You know, like this stuff coming up must be massive if they're going to be taking away such a big thing like Forsaken, and, you know, taking away that whole campaign and things like that, and taking away the Tangled Shore. I mean, that's a pretty large space, if you ask me. And then imagine that makes me excited, because like I said, I think that just makes Witch Queen larger, in my opinion, and I hope it is.
Maybe they'll surprise us with another destination like they did in Forsaken. We had no idea about the Dreaming City, and they got surprised with a whole new destination. Maybe the Dreadnought, you know, when they bring up some legacy stuff back, Dreadnought with Kingsfall, that's going to be a whole zone. So like,
we know we have the throne world, Savathun's throne world. We know we have that. That looks like a pretty large space in itself.
Yeah.
And then you have the whole, you know, kind of swamp old Chicago area that, you know, might be a thing as well too. So I'm assuming we might have 2 new areas to explore and stuff like that. So
that old Chicago looking thing was actually the throne world. There's like a swamp area in the throne world. I think the Dreadnought, I mean, I'm gonna just put it out there. I think that they can't have the Witch Queen come out and not have us have some part of the story include the Dreadnought, because it's just there, and
it's something similar.
It's got to connect to the story somehow. Like either Savathun went there and like took something, or there's something missing, or Erismorn was there. I don't know.
That makes us have to go there, which would be awesome.
It would just make sense that they would bring it in Witch Queen, and then whenever they bring, you know, our favorite raid ever back, then it's gonna be inside of the Dreadnought, which is already back, so then they don't have to like have this weird reason. Because I like it whenever there can be some sort of lore still like connected to it.
Connection to it.
Because
like
I don't really like that Vogue's just like a thing. It doesn't really make sense why it's in it. It's fun and I love it.
That was one of my pet peeves when they brought it back. Like I thought that would have fit in the story somewhat because we were dealing with effects and stuff like that. But they had and they made the changes for Vogue to update it. But like narratively, story wise, it was just there. So yeah. I hope they fit that, you know, in the story somewhat. Like make us go there, you know,
revisiting it for a reason and not just revisiting because it's there. Yeah, I that is one thing I definitely hope as well too, because I was expecting that. A lot of people were speculating that with Season of Dawn and how like we were going back in time, past, future, present, all that stuff with the sundial, how like maybe like sometime we go back in time and Vault of Glass comes into the mix type deal, and that would have been badass. You know, Osiris is, you know, as we all recently discovered, was Savathun the whole time. Like,
I had no clue.
Dude, like imagine the story that could have.
I had no clue, ladies and gentlemen.
Dude, I don't think I didn't until he started, you know, dismembering right there in front of our face. So, I do hope in that regard that King's Fall being so similar to what we're getting with Witch Queen, that when it comes back out of the vault, whatever you want to call it, that it is tied into something. We have to revisit it for a reason, because that's where she was. We have to figure out what she did. She went into the Court of Oryx. I don't know, something. I want to have a connection because that's how connected I was to Taken King. You know, I want to relive that.
The loading screen's
And-
in there. Remember when that was in Destiny 2? There was a section of time where people were like guessing that the dreadnought was
And you
coming
can
back.
see the dreadnought in the background. Yeah.
It was well. It was like it was like the loading screen for the dreadnought
It's still up there floating.
is in.
So I mean,
yeah,
it's still there.
Is in Destiny 2. Like it's in it right now, still. But I don't know. They could have been testing something and that just got lost in the test.
Oops.
I have no idea. Just like they're testing out like. There's a spot inside of what's that? What's like the dark forest
the Shattered
place?
Realm.
No. The dark forest. It's on the EDZ. They're like there's like a test. Someone like glitched into a room where you could like destroy trees and stuff. They were like testing something in there. So like I feel like there's stuff like that always in the game that might like lead.
I have not
to
seen that.
whatever. You haven't seen
Same,
that?
me
It's
neither.
pretty cool.
Nope.
There's like this spot that I don't think you can do it now, but they got into it and they went and it was a room full of items that were destructible, like worldly items. Like they were testing destructible items inside of it, and it was just in the game. I don't know.
On
I saw it
YouTube?
on
Did you find this on YouTube?
yeah, it was on YouTube. It might still be
I'll have to
on
look it
there.
up.
You have to look it up after this. It was interesting though. I hope that there's destructible stuff. I love it when I can break trees and stuff.
Dude, Leviathan, I would always shoot the pots.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same.
You can see,
Um,
just imagine all the content that comes from blowing up trees, right?
just
and rocks.
most DPS done to a tree.
It's a real MMO now. If trees can go
Chopping
down.
up trees, but as well, trees
Oh
is
my
the
god!
thing.
Imagine we have to farm trees for
Yes.
materials, bro.
They're like, you wanted this to be an
Stop
MMO.
it.
It's gonna be one.
Stop it! I gotta go shoot a tree for upgrade materials, bro. Stop this! I'm leaving. I'm not playing Destiny no more. So that's that. Havoc. I definitely had a great point though. I mean, it makes sense that we're getting rid of this stuff because stuff can't handle it. And like I said, just overall, I do agree with and I do understand the whole DCV, the Destiny content vault, whatever you want to call it. Because and then Fizz even made a good point. It's just the vault. It could possibly come back, later in time, more optimized.
Yeah, because they can optimize that stuff to make the file size a little bit smaller and give it, and clean it up a little bit and throw it back. I mean, yeah, it's not gone forever,
Makes sense.
people.
It makes sense for sure. Just don't take PvP away, please. Don't do it to me.
They're not going
Take
to.
Gambit. Take Gambit away.
Hey, Gambit.
Nobody
That's
plays
right.
Gambit
Yeah,
but Cool Cheese.
true.
Let's
Cool
be
Cheese
honest.
plays by himself.
That man literally could go into a private match of Gambit and just hang out with the enemies.
He probably has. Look
I'm
at those
scared.
videos he be posting, man. For
I'm
real.
scared
Like,
for
he
him.
Shoot shit off like 5 minutes before the invader comes, and the invader just dies.
I'm scared for that man. He's got something in his brain that I ain't got, and that's called patience. No, I'm kidding. No. So let's talk about talk about PvP for just a minute because we all know is your
Let's talk about
mainly
PvP for like 45 minutes.
No, we didn't. We talked about Apex Legends out of all things.
Apex nerds, welcome to the Apex
Listen,
Nerds
Fizz,
podcast.
here's what we need to do. Here's all right for the next time that the next however many minutes where this podcast is going on. Me and you and Mr. Luke here, we need to convince Havoc to go into trials. All right, we need to. This man has not touched trials, and Havoc. I don't even know if you've ever even touched trials in general.
In Destiny 1, I did.
Okay, all right. That's our goal. Is that by the end of this, Havoc needs to be persuaded to go into trials at least one time in the next month.
And we'll go
All right?
flawless.
That's our goal. We have to get Havoc flawless.
Going
He has to
flawless.
see that gold chest and just feel the serotonin rush through his body. That's what we need to do. Whether
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
carry him there or not.
I don't think honestly, I think it would only take him getting in like a game or two for him to be hooked on, going for the chest. I think right now for new players, it really is about as far as like hooking them, it really is about the time frame that they go in, time
Absolutely.
frame that they go in, whether it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Monday, depending on the flawless pool and things like that, and then how they go in and who they go in with, right?
It's funny because I'm halfway decent in PvP. It doesn't like thrill me, so like that's why I don't do it. So
That's because you haven't
You
played
jump-
with
you
the
jump
ill
in there.
physics.
Right.
that's what's holding me back. All right.
No, I love taking people in there, man, for real, because it's just like.
Oh,
it's
then
the
you're
same
in for a
thing.
disappointment, sir.
No,
Oh
I
my
don't care.
gosh.
I've said it multiple times before. If you are on my team, if you come in, I do not care how you do. I don't care. A lot of people are just like, yo, I'm sorry about that physics, man. I'm really sorry that I went like 0.2 or something. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Did you have fun? You know what I'm saying? Do you need me to give you a tip or two? Other than that, so let's just go back in and let's do it again. And that I know that's how Maddox is. I'm sure that's how Luke is. It's just like, it's just not that big of a deal, you know. It's more important that
Hours
you know,
later.
we're having fun as a team, you know. But I swear, you go in there like on a Friday when population is really high, or you go in there on.
I think he would have almost a lot of good experience. You stay out of the flawless pool and go on maybe Sunday afternoon or something like that. That like I feel like
I've
that
been
might
going
be his
flawless
best
on
bet.
Mondays because that's like my first time I get on the weekend, and it's been like super easy flawlesses because I'm
That's what
not
I
in
was
the
gonna
flawless
say.
pool.
Monday is typically, even before all this flawless pool stuff, like Monday like morning, or like Monday afternoon is typically like straightforward. Even Tuesday morning before reset like is also kind of really straightforward. So so yeah, I would agree with that. Like Monday or Tuesday morning, but Monday is a good time during the day when population is probably going to be at its highest.
I agree with that. We got to see Havoc and Trials, dude. That's going to be
I
a
would love it.
whole new beast.
Maybe if we hit 1,000 followers.
There you go.
That's the
There you go.
incentive. The Destiny
That's a goal.
nerds.
Y'all heard it here first.
Yeah, you did.
Hit that.
Wait, you talking about us
On
or
Destiny
you?
nerds.
No, on the Destiny nerds, man.
This
We're
podcast.
almost at 600 right now. If we hit 1,000, I'll do trials.
I think we're gonna have to get you in there before
Dude,
that.
yeah, before
what?
that, bro.
That could be months from now.
That could be next year, bro.
Bro, that could be never.
We're staying at 600 for life.
How about we hit 582? That's the next follower.
Someone's about to go make a fake account.
No, dude. Havoc, I do think truly you will enjoy it. It's at its best state, and if you ask me, especially this past weekend, people kind of we got Jav back, we got Adept Sniper, the population was really high. Friday was fantastic. I had fun. Went flawless 4 times Friday night. It was a blast. And then my dumb self tried to go solo flawless on Saturday night, and
Man,
that
that's
was
hard.
not fun.
After going flawless.
Very difficult. Very
Oh, wait.
difficult.
Yeah. There's not the pool yet.
But what I want to do next week is I want to go solo flawless. I've yet to do it. A lot of my friends like, oh, I went solo flawless. It was easy.
It was so easy. It took me 10 minutes. That's
Okay,
what everybody's.
Stop capping because that is just not true.
You look
was
it up.
difficult.
They actually didn't. They're just.
I'm literally having to get 15 to 20 kills just to win the game, and I'm winning like 5-3 or 5-4. It's not fun.
Yeah, I
It
would
is
definitely
very
say,
difficult.
as far as like solo flawless, like Mondays. I
so-
did not have that much
He
trouble on Monday.
just has all the time when to jump in. He's got everything synchronized to like a watch.
Oh, he's got it, dude.
He
Watch
should.
goes off. Well,
He should. I would too.
I played it up to know for sure. I think on Mondays, the people that even in the flawless pool, but the people that are playing on Mondays are really just the committed folks, you know, trying to really get in there and really grind out that flawless. And so that's what I definitely saw. I saw better teammates in general, especially when I got to the flawless pool. You know, like before the flawless pool, because remember I hadn't gone flawless. That was the first time I'd been back in trials in 4 months, so I definitely was not in any sort of flawless pool. And my teammates then were, you know, solid enough. We got it done. But especially in the flawless pool on Monday, like I was impressed. The people that were playing in the flawless pool on Monday were going for it. So, you know. One
thing I noticed.
I had a really fun experience solo flawless or solo, you know, whatever trials on Monday.
One thing I noticed when I was doing it last night, I did about 3.5, not quite 4 hours, and then what I noticed is, so if you guys don't know, this past weekend was weird. It was weird with the matchmaking. This past weekend there was a bug, there was a glitch where the first 2, after you went flawless, the first 2 games of your matchmaking, you were in the flawless pool, no matter what. You just matched with. It was like the card was reversed. Your first 2 games were harder just due to being in the flawless pool. I don't know where that glitch came from. I don't know how that even happens. But
as intended.
No. So the first 2 games, what you were saying, I noticed I had much better teammates. The games might have been a little bit more difficult, but I wasn't having to, you know, rely on myself as much. But what I did notice is after I won those first 2 games, game 3, game 4 were much more difficult, and I had to slay out. Because I wasn't in the flawless pool anymore. I was in just the regular, you know, trials matchmaking, and my teammates were a little bit less of skill. And I'm like, okay, whoa, it's such a big difference. And that's what I've noticed just last week, or just yesterday night whenever I was attempting. So now what I want to try is next week. I'm not going flawless. I'll play Friday and Saturday with my friends. I'll do helps. I'll do play with whoever. And then Sunday I'm gonna try out solo flawless, non-flawless pool once reset starts and see Is it difficult? How are my teammates and stuff like that? Who am I matching with and stuff? So I'm really curious to see how that plays out. So maybe just hop in solo for a bit, Havoc, get a little taste of it.
I wouldn't recommend that, Havoc. I'm gonna go.
No,
ahead and
don't
say
do it. Don't do it, Havoc. Stop it.
He says
I
just
if
don't.
you're trying to get hooked on, if you're trying to get hooked on trials, I wouldn't start with solo. It's
Nope.
such a RNG experience for someone. Then he's like, you have to already be addicted to the game, like myself.
Yeah.
That's all.
You have to question yourself in the mirror later and wonder why you did that.
Yeah. It's much more palatable when you go in with friends that are encouraging and that don't put a lot of pressure on you, basically.
Mhm.
But also don't necessarily make you feel like a carry either. They're encouraging you to contribute. That's what I like.
And that's one thing I've noticed with Tony and then a lot of other people that I watch as well too with trials helps is they'll do helps, and it's not just helping you get to the lighthouse, it's helping you figure out what you did wrong, figure out how you can help them, because you're not just a carry, you're a teammate, you're a person going in there, and of course Tony or whoever you're playing with in this aspect might be better than you, of course, and they are carrying majority of the weight, but they can hey, go flank this angle real quick while we push this way with my super, and then bam, that guy's on the backside of him getting 3 kills while you're pushing him around it's things like that.
Exactly.
You notice how trials plays, because it's completely different than quick play, it's completely different than comp. Things are completely different when it comes to the trials mentality, I call it, and learning the priorities and stuff like that. So you have to learn that stuff first, unfortunately, before you can go into solo trials and learn how to kind of play more by yourself, and then not having comms and stuff like that. So that's been a challenge with me, because I'm big when it comes to commentating and knowing where my teammates are, knowing where my enemies are located, what their health is, what their supers are, stuff like that. So that's where my challenge has been, and I think it's making me a better player overall, which is nice. So
Yeah. And that was one thing that I solo is definitely a different monster, right? I like it a lot because I'm not distracted by my teammates, number one. And number two, I don't know, like maybe it's coming from Apex. Maybe Apex taught me that a little bit too, because the last month of Apex in particular, I was at a point where it was better that I soloed games in order to gain the experience that I needed, that I was looking for at that point, basically. And also in Apex, the solo skill-based matchmaking is substantially easier than if you team up in a fire team, if you team up in a lobby with your friends or whatnot. So those two things right there. And so something that you quickly learn, me being kind of a teamwork-oriented person, coming from team sports all my life, coming from, Destiny competitive scene, et cetera, I've always, thrived or enjoyed an environment where, the comms were always on point, where the coordination's always on point. But when you're playing solo, there's a different mindset that it takes for it. That mindset really is, I don't care what my teammates are doing whatsoever. I'm just going to make sure that I'm playing my life and trying to slay out and try to isolate enemies and do as much damage as possible. And if my teammates, are able to or want to contribute, then they will. But a lot of times playing solo, I literally ran right past the body that was a res right there, because I wasn't going to risk waiting on that body and then losing the timing I needed to push and isolate the next person to get that drop to clutch that round, basically.
Right.
So it's a different mindset playing solo, but I think it is a necessary mindset that you have to have. You cannot. I think it's a bad idea to try to play it like you're actually on comms with a team, unless you're actually on comms with the team.
Unless you actually join the chat and such.
It's one or the other. But coming back around to what you're talking about with regards to trials help and my mentality about it, and other people's that have this similar mentality, is the goal, the overarching goal is, I want you to get hooked on trials. I want you to see improvement in trials and know how to continue to see growth, whether I'm there or not. Right? I want you to have that foundation for improvement and for growth. That you can continue to do that on your own with or without my guidance. And so in game, I try to propagate that same type of mentality to the point where, like, I want you to feel like if we get to the lighthouse, we win this game, we win this round or whatnot, you feel like you contributed, because once we do eventually get to the lighthouse, you don't feel like you were weight. You don't feel like you were a burden. You don't feel like you were a carry. You feel like you contributed, maybe not necessarily equally, but none of us are ever 100% equal when it comes to the White House. Sometimes my buddy X is playing substantially better on a card than I am. You know, it's all about just contributing to that W and feeling rewarded, feeling, fulfilled, in what you were able to do and the impact that you were able to make in those games to contribute to the dub.
I agree, and that's really all you can do. Whenever the majority of when I do trials, the majority of the people that come in from my community are already trials players as well too. Maybe they just don't have a team or whatever that they know, like just by watching me, by watching my people that I recommend. They understand trials. I haven't had very many experiences where I'm trying to help someone that's like brand spanking new, like what is trials? I've never done this before in my life. So I haven't really had that much experience unless I'm playing with Luke, but no, I'm kidding.
Shut up.
Got him.
Wow.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I had to.
You're done.
Get disconnected. Which I haven't been able to play with Luke very recently since the first week.
Yeah, my schedule's different than yours. That's why.
Absolutely.
I'm like getting on
Absolutely.
when you're going to bed.
Mm-hmm. But I have one question for Havoc, because now that we've talked about trials, Havoc, I would love to. Okay, let's just act like you're gonna do it. All right. I really hope you do.
Let's pretend.
I really hope you do.
Let's pretend.
Let's pretend.
What would be your go-to loadout going into trials? I want to hear what your thoughts are, Havoc.
What I typically use, because obviously what I typically use probably wouldn't work in trials, but what I typically use.
Oh, and reminder, you're on PS5 as well too. So for those that don't know that already.
Yeah. So I usually run like Ace of Spades, and
he's good. He's
good.
gonna do just fine.
Ace of Spades, and and I use a shoddy. I'm one of those guys. So Felwinter's Ace of Spades. It's usually what I run.
Sounds like every other trials player.
I did get Vex a couple weeks ago, so maybe Vex. I heard that melts pretty well. So
What is that gun? I've never heard of that gun before.
Maddox doesn't know what that is.
Doesn't drop for me.
Don't.
But yeah, my typical loadout is usually a hand cannon, preferably Ace of Spades and a shoddy, typically.
Cool. Oh yeah, you'd be good then. That's really common
And a
loadout
rocket
for.
launcher, that's it, and I'm good.
And who do you normally play? What do you normally play, subclass wise?
I'm a warlock, so I'll run like either I've been using a lot more geomags as of late, but I do sometimes run bottom tree Dawnblade. So
That's making a come up recently in PvP as well too. A lot of people have been running that. Cool.
I know.
Havoc, I really hope you.
I used to run like my Nova bombs, but like just
There's not much place in PvP for those, unfortunately.
yeah. But yeah, it's usually I slap on some geomags if I want to piss off people, or just go to my bottom tree Dawnblade. That's about
Nice,
it.
dude. I hope you do it. I'd be there to watch the whole card.
I feel like you're like, I want to make sure what this guy has before I fully commit, just in case we do trials.
He's like, I run my favorite blue guns, and I don't masterwork anything. No exotics.
Nope. None.
Oh goodness.
I feel like I was being interviewed.
I was testing you.
1280 light.
Yeah, 1280
Yeah.
light.
Not even max light yet. Oh goodness.
So,
I hope you do it, Havoc. I think you'd really enjoy it. You get with the right people. Whether it's with me and Luke or...
here's another thing. So if you don't hit the 1,000 followers on this channel, I'll do trials when Luke gets a clan.
Oh my god. Now we're
That's a
definitely
good
never
one.
doing trials.
Oh my god. I've been clanless for like 6 months now.
It's been trying so hard to get into
I
it.
None
asked
of
him.
that temporary BS just to get me to do it.
I ask every single guest that we have on the podcast if I can join their clan. I just do it. I just ask everyone. But I think it's just a joke at this point. No one says
It is.
yes.
It's just definitely a meme.
At this point.
People have said yes, but you just don't follow through.
They didn't invite me. I was waiting for the invite.
Painful. Painful.
It's okay.
Luke joined. You have some. In
One of
chat
these
here, you have
days,
some-
somebody will, come after me and be like, "We want you." Okay.
Wanted.
We want you. You're a valuable member of this community. Come to this nice clan.
There you go. Well, we hope we see it one day, Havoc. I think you'll do great, my friend. I would love to see you at the lighthouse. Whether it's with me or whether it's with physics, I don't care. I want to see it happen.
All right.
There we go. He said we could do it, and he just committed.
You heard it here first, folks.
Anyways,
Do you guys have any other questions that you guys have at anything?
Me?
Do you have any questions for us, dude? We haven't been asked any questions before,
Man.
Yeah, ask us a question.
except for Above. Above hit us with that one good question.
Yeah, he did once.
Luke, how long has the beard been going?
Oh yeah.
let's go.
The last time I
Ooh.
clean shaved my beard was my 22nd birthday because my wife brought me to Niagara Falls for like a surprise birthday trip, and she like I didn't bring my trimmers, and she like I had her like use scissors to like trim the sides, and I looked like
she screwed it up, and so you had to do it
I looked
all
like a
over.
billy goat, so I had no other option, so I had to get a razor from the
Is there
from the-
pictures,
from
bro?
the
I gotta see
hotel.
that.
Wow.
There
Yeah.
is. I'll send them to you after this.
Perfect.
Ooh.
But that's the last time I clean shaved. But then in 2018, I had a really rough year. I filmed like 45 weddings, and I like just I was just like over it. So one night after a wedding, I got home and I'm like, I'm shaving, and I just like not shaved all the way down. I just got rid of my beard, and that's the last
Sounds
time.
like a midlife crisis, and you're not through your midlife yet.
Yeah. So it's not
Pretty
super
drastic.
long. I get it trimmed up every once in a while. I'm actually trying to grow it right now. I'm trying to see if I can get it like where you can't see it in the frame, but it's gonna
Mine-
We
take
got
some
upset
time.
that
Mine's
his brother's
about as
beard
long
is
as
better than
yours.
his.
It's not mine's bigger than Drew's beard now. My brother has a huge beard too, and he's 6 years younger than me. But it
Huge
was
bush.
better. It was better than mine. But now he got it
Yeah.
trimmed, so now mine's better than his because I'm
Gotcha.
older.
Gotcha. The beard is more mature. The man is more mature.
Yes.
There you go.
Just imagine when you get that little gray in
That's
it.
why I'm
like
ready
this
for some
gray.
gray. I need gray in this beard, man. I want it so bad. I
Hit out by store clerks.
This older guy walked by me the other day, and he goes, he had big gray beard and gray hair, and he's like, I remember my beard looked like yours. I'm like, I want to look like you. He's like, you're too young, and walked away.
That's funny.
That's a good
One
question.
day you'll be you'll have a better beard than your brother.
I do right now have a better beard
No,
than my
you don't.
brother, but thanks for
No, you don't.
if you didn't hear me, he just trimmed it. It's super short now. Mine's better.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. When you say trim, I thought you meant like he like shaped it because I know his is like a little bit more.
No, it's like way shorter. It's
Oh,
like
isn't
up
it
to here.
fairly soon, Maddox?
did he do that?
You and Luke will be hanging with each other in a few weeks, right?
Yeah, that's true.
That's like
Luke's
in like
going all
less
down
than a
to
month.
Florida.
So, like, you can actually have your opinion then. Like, you'll see the
I might have to.
full growth. You'd be like, all right,
Yeah,
okay.
that's true. I just have to take some clippers to him and mess him
No.
up.
No.
Get him in his sleep.
Imagine.
Oh shit.
That'll be the last time I talk to Luke.
You
unfortunately,
take a
but-
picture of me
probably.
sleeping on Twitter, like got him, and it's just me with no beard. He shaved me in my sleep.
Yep.
Bro, you give me some ideas. You better watch out.
He tweets it, doesn't even tag me, gets 10 million likes. Just kidding. Nobody
Yeah,
would care.
And by
Become-
the time you finally see it, exactly, it has 10
Twitter
million.
live.
Become verified on Twitter overnight.
Yep. Well, you'd have to have a hashtag for it, so it's like hashtag.
Oh, true. Hashtag beardless Luke.
Bald Luke.
Beardless Luke. There we go.
Baldless Luke.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Bluke.
There we go.
What is it? That's what Poner
Bluke.
calls you. He calls you Bluke.
That's my new nickname is Bluke. People be calling me Bluke. Just
What
call
the
me
hell?
Bluke.
Don't let them call you that. By the way, don't do it.
Yeah, that's making fun of you, bro. What the heck?
Pretty bad.
Don't embrace it.
Oh, goodness.
Oh man.
Cool
Well,
dude. Cool dude.
Yeah. That was fun. Holy cow.
It's getting to time, so unfortunately we can't.
It is. It's an
go
hour
much farther.
25. This is the time that we have to slowly say the sad goodbyes. This was a fun episode. Seriously, it
Yeah,
feels good to have.
It was good.
Feels good to have 4 people around again. Like I had a blast
Well,
with you, Maddox, but it's kind of fun having all 3 of the
fuck
hosts
me
again.
then, I guess. Jesus Christ.
Sorry.
No, it's different. It's a different dynamic having 3 hosts again and then having our.
And what I
guests.
like about the episodes that we've been having is you blink and it's already been an hour and a half. You know, like we've been able to talk for this long without even thinking about it, which is fun. I knew once we got Fizz on here that was going to be an easy
I
thing
could
to do,
listen
'cause-
to him talk for like 5 hours straight. Not kidding.
Well, all you gotta do is come by the stream.
That's true.
all I do.
That's like 12 hours then, right? I always like
Yeah,
get on
yeah.
and it'd be like 14 hours. It'd be like 6 in the morning. I'm like, oh my gosh, this dude goes hard. I love it.
It's true. It's true. We do kind of like get into it and just stay into it. It's because like I have to warm up for stream, but once I'm warmed up for stream, I can't I can't go to
Does
sleep.
one warm up
Yeah.
a stream?
What's up?
How does one warm up a stream?
I drink a.
You're
bunch
making
of
it sound
caffeine.
like it's a car in the wintertime. You got to go outside to warm it up so it doesn't freeze.
I I'm a shitty car, so
Take some time, Havoc. Relax.
wow, so
He's
yeah,
got a
me,
defrost.
Yeah.
you might just want to see me at my prime.
I didn't
not-
expect that answer. Awesome answer.
Well,
I'm
then
like a
Shitty
shitty
car.
like,
All
I
right.
turn on the seat warmers.
app, and then we're good to go. But after that, I mean that caffeine just has me going for like hours and hours. So that's what
I
it
feel
comes
that.
down to.
I feel that.
that's what I like to hear. So,
brother.
well, dude, thank you for being here. Tell us where we can find you, where people can find you. What projects you work? Are you working on anything special? Like, give us all your details. We want to hear about you.
Oh man.
Ooh, a little
Let's
insight.
talk for another 35 minutes. You realize that, right?
That's fine. Go for it.
Dang it, Luke.
I'm ordering the brain right now. I'm keeping things in order right now. So illphysics on the majority of platforms, right? On Twitch, on YouTube, on Twitter, on Instagram, which is a pain in the ass to upload things to me.
Instagram sucks.
It's just like I try to upload a video one time and it works, and then the next time it doesn't work. That's why I stopped uploading stuff to it, because it's just a pain in the ass. But either way, it's illphysics over there, the same as Gmail as well. But either way, if you go to my Twitter, then you can just see my link tree and get all my links. But it's illphysics on most platforms. As far as projects, we just released a video to help folks to optimize their PC. We go into quite a bit of depth optimizing their PC to help Destiny 2 run a little bit better, so they can increase their frames, reduce latency between button press and what they see happen on the screen, as well as address micro stutters as well, which is kind of a common thing that happens in Destiny 2. It's specifically catered towards folks that play PvP and want to play PvP at a high level. But it's something that you can apply to both Destiny and other games. Like folks, a lot of the optimizations that I talk about for Destiny 2 are optimizations that I actually ended up making for Apex as well. So it's something that is widely viable, no matter what game you play on PC. Especially when it comes to, like I said, if you want to get a few more extra frames, if you want your game to run a little more smoothly, and if you want to reduce the latency. So. That video just came out and it's doing really, really well. It's got like 3K views, over 3K views or something like that for a few days.
Oh, I have it pulled up right
and,
now. I just subbed. I'm watching it after this because I'm actually going to – I haven't tinkered with my settings in a long time, so I'm going to –
It's so
I'm gonna
noticeable, Luke.
I'm going to watch
Yeah.
through it and change some stuff.
I'm glad. And make sure also like that you check the first pinned tweet. That's where I put the troubleshooting stuff, because everybody's PC is different, right?
Mhm.
So some of this stuff that is popping up with folks, I never experienced myself. So I'm just kind of paying attention to the comments on Twitter, on when people come to the stream or on YouTube, and I respond to as much as I can. And then anything that seems to be kind of a common, focus point, I make sure to kind of put in the troubleshooting of the pinned message. So that was kind of like the last like big one, because I wanted to make sure that I got that out. It was optimizations that I made specifically coming back to D2, which was a recent endeavor, right? So. Otherwise, I'm sure we've got another montage coming out that we'll be working on with my editor, probably at the end of this month or probably sometime at the beginning of next month when he gets a little bit more free time. And then I'll be coming out with a couple more settings like OBS dual PC settings.
Smart.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
It's a good idea. There's no actual good videos about it, if I'm being honest. So
Yeah.
definitely do that.
Yeah. And so, I've learned all this AV stuff. I was brand new to it. So I've learned a lot over the last several years, and quality of my stream and of my content is extremely important to me. So like I dive in. A lot of times I'm late to stream simply because of the fact that there's just one like nagging problem or nagging troubleshooting issue that I'm trying to get fixed. And most of it I do, come to a conclusion with. And so yeah, I'll be coming out with that because, a lot of people, like you said, would find that really helpful. I do feel like I'm pretty good at explaining things, even if sometimes long-winded, but that's why we have scripts, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Eventually, I'm going to come up with a hand cannon tutorial as well. That's hand cannons are my thing. So those are the things that I kind of specialize with, the things that maybe a lot of folks don't do when it comes to hand cannon. It's not just about hitting 3 headshots. Like that's probably fairly low on the top 10 priority list as far as what you really need to be focusing on with your hand cannon. I win hand cannon fights not because I can 3-tap consistently, which I do try to do, but I use cover, I peek shoot correctly, like my game sense is up there specifically for hand cannons, and how I rotate around the map as well is specifically caters to closing distances and navigating cover with my hand cannon. So we'll be doing that sometime in the next month or so as well. So that's a pretty big project, and we got some other stuff that I can't talk about. I'm trying to think about anything else that I can talk about, but no, we're back on Destiny 2. I'm enjoying it, and I'm enjoying being back with the community. So I appreciate
Oh,
you
yeah,
folks,
dude.
inviting me through.
Of course.
We appreciate you. We appreciate you joining.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll have you back.
Definitely.
We as soon as we've gotten through every guest we've ever wanted on, which is taking us 37 episodes so far, we're gonna
And
have
we're
you
not
back
even
on.
close.
We're not even close. We there's so many cool people in this community like you that we want to just chat with and get to know, and that's why we
most
do
definitely.
this. It's cool to be able
Of
to
course.
chat, and then this is just gonna live on the internet. So the cool part is if someone wants to come back and learn about you, they can. So
Yeah,
I'm so pumped you're here. Maddox, Havoc. Wait, actually, are we gonna do the outro?
So yeah,
after?
we're gonna let Fizz do his thing. He'll kind of disconnect, get his stream started. We'll send the live audience over to him.
Outta
Awesome.
here.
Awesome. Well, bro,
One
thank
question
you so
though,
much.
is
Okay,
that
one
a
question.
sunshot? I just noticed on
It's
your
a sunshot
PC.
for sure.
I just noticed that for some reason. I've been like looking at your PC because it looks so similar to mine, and I'm like, wait, what is that on top? Oh my
Oh.
god, it's a sunshot.
I saw
love
that
it.
when we started. I was like, oh my gosh, look at that thing. Yes. Oh no. Is he
Oh,
gonna have?
no. He's like, wait, what?
Yep.
What?
Yep. So
That is badass.
Wow.
Probably one of the best looking hand cannons in the game
Oh, for
too.
sure.
I mean,
And it's
all the way
just-
from the beginning of Destiny 2.
So
That
unique.
looks badass. I love that. Hell yeah. I got to get me something like that.
Same.
So my friend Raptor, she ended up sending that to me as a surprise gift, and it's so cool.
That's
'cause a lot of
awesome.
people know that I love that hand cannon. It's one of my favorite hand cannons, if not my favorite hand cannon in the game. Probably Hawkmoon ended up taking that spot, but nonetheless, probably second favorite.
Yeah, Hawkman's my favorite.
Cool.
Yeah.
Ancient Gospel takes it for me. So
Spare
Well, thank you
rations
so
over
much,
here.
Ooh,
Spare
don't say
ration.
that. Now
we appreciate you joining.
You're my priority.
We'll let you do your thing, and we'll send the homies over in just a moment.
Good, take your time. I'll be there. Yo, thanks again. I appreciate you folks, and I
Thanks,
Appreciate
bro.
you joining, brother.
big love.
Have
Have
an
a
awesome
wonderful night. Have a
dude.
wonderful stream. We'll be there in just a moment.
Sounds good. Take your time. Peace,
Take your
everybody.
time.
Peace out.
Peace.
So, Havoc, Maddox, what you guys up
Yes.
to? Where you guys going? What you guys names? What you guys doing?
My name is Maddox. You can follow me on twitch.tv/Maddox. Maddox on Twitch and everything else. I have a movie of the week submission going out right now. So if you follow me on Twitter, my most
I
recent
do.
tweet. My most recent tweet has the Bungie link that you guys should go upvote on, and it's a wonderful clip that blew up just about everywhere that I posted it. So it would really mean a lot if I got movie of the week. And all the homies that
Even
were.
though I don't understand at all the context of it, you should still vote for it.
I got
I'm a
another one coming
boomer,
out as well
bro.
too. So
You
I
know
have
what it
another one coming out.
means.
I'm gonna wait to see how that one performs. If it doesn't get it this week, then I have another submission coming out on Friday.
Oh, you just got a bucket full of so many clips to use. Just
just
in
I
case.
hunting.
have.
He's
I have
hunting
about a
for that-
week's full
for
of
that
tw-
emblem.
I've had about a week's full of content already edited, ready to go to post one a day.
Must
so.
be nice,
you.
dude. Imagine
Um,
having time to do that. That'd be freaking awesome.
Imagine.
I know. But most of my content I'm posting on TikTok right now, which is fantastic because I freaking love TikTok's like my sense of humor. So if you guys want quality content, funny little clips, TikTok is where you can find me.
Yeah, if you're 25 and
that-
under, check it out.
Yes.
You'll understand.
Yes. But other than that, we will be next live on Tuesday night with Scrims, of course. So
Yes, sir. Scrimmy wimmies.
Glims.
Heck
Other
yeah.
than that,
Wow.
You're busy,
Glad-
bro. You got a lot of stuff going for you, dude. That's awesome. It's cool to see.
thank you.
Man. For me, I'm still embracing the spooky season, playing a lot of horror games this week. I am jumping into Destiny on Tuesday because Festival of the Lost comes back on Tuesday. Yeah.
Dang, I
Hey,
completely
we can do
forgot about
dinosaurs,
that.
man. Dinosaurs. So, I got that going on. Playing. I just started a playthrough of the Ghostbusters video game remastered, which brings back a lot of nostalgia feels. So, been doing that. Playing Phasmophobia, Dead by Daylight, pretty much during the whole month of October, and decided to sprinkle in some Destiny this week for the Festival of the Lost, and that's about it, really. That's about it.
Heck yeah, dude.
Oh yeah, dude.
Heck yeah. Well, I'm Bearded Luke. You can find me at twitch.tv/BeardedLuke or youtube.com/BeardedLuke. I've been traveling for like 3 weeks straight, it feels like. So I started New World last week and it's really fun, but I am forcing myself not to love it because it's going to take up all my time if I play it. I don't have any, but it's fun. So I'm kind of dabbling in that. I'm going to try to stream this week. I'll probably do a trial stream tomorrow night, whether that's a stacked like card just to get a flawless or playing with friends or I don't know. And then the rest of the week is open. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I have a I have like 4 YouTube videos in the works. I'm about to revive my Bearded Luke Pokemon channel on YouTube. I actually have a channel called Bearded Luke Pokemon. I moved all my Pokemon videos to that channel. And I might revive that because I'm kind of getting a little bit back into the world of that. And I have like 15 Pokemon videos.
You still have stacked boxes they haven't opened yet?
Yeah, I have a lot of stuff. And I have about 15 Pokemon videos that I never released. Like, I never finished them. So if I really wanted to, like, push for that, I probably could over there. But, yeah, so that's it. Super pumped that we got to all hang out, guys. That was super fun. That was episode 38 of the Destiny Nerds podcast. Stick around. If you're listening to this, just ignore what I'm about to say, but stick around because we're going to raid our guest, illphysics. We love all of you. Listen to this, watch this, subscribe to us on YouTube. You know, be our best friends. We'll see y'all next time. Bye.
Night.